Yo, what is up? It's your boy Sterls and Rob, and we are back once again for another show this week. We're going to be talking some Buffalo Bills and their win over the Tennessee Titans. And then I want to get into, there's still some wide receiver chatter around the league about the Bills potentially picking up another wide receiver. So we'll get into that and much more. Welcome to the Rumblings Podcast Network. And here we go. What's up, Rob? How you doing, homie?
Let's go, baby. Hair down, don't care. You know what I mean?
Hey, Thor. I see you, dog. Big Lebowski.
I was about to put it up, and I was like, you know what? Maybe we just let it flow tonight.
Is it a let your hair down kind of day, or what?
Back to back W. You gotta let it flow a little bit.
You gotta let the soul glow. Let it float, baby. I like it though. I would, you know what? I do wish that I had hair, bro. I ain't gonna cap. It'd be nice.
Is it not possible for you, or?
It's possible. It just don't grow in like it used to.
I mean, lose the headphones. Let's see the thing.
Nah, dog.
Because you hatfish a lot of the time, dog.
I mean, well, I still got the face piece here, and it's still, Yeah,
come on, lose the lid. Let's see it.
Nah, we ain't trying to do all that. Now I can't. It's. You know what? I don't wear a hat to work sometimes. Most times I don't wear a hat to work.
Be proud of who you are.
Oh, I am for sure. I'm still a tasty morsel out here in these streets, dog. Well, not no more, but you know what I'm saying? It was once upon a time.
No, I don't.
Yeah, you know what's up.
Thankfully, I don't know what you're saying. And I hope that stays that way forever.
Whatever. Oh, man. So, speaking of, how's dating life, man? Like, how is it?
No?
No. So listen, ladies out there, Rob is hold on.
What are you doing?
Hey, now.
What?
Hey.
We're here to talk about the Buffalo Bills.
We are. We're gonna get to the Bills. I'm just saying, the Bills Mafia has a lot of beautiful women in it. A lot of beautiful women. That's all I'm saying. And you're a single guy, and there's nothing like, being in a relationship with a fellow Bills babe. I'm just saying, they out there, dog.
I had a rule in my 20s not to date inside the division. So,
yeah, how's that working out for you?
I passed up on some Patriots, man. And apparently, I shouldn't have.
you would pass up on some Miami Dolphins chicks.
I mean, in my 20s, yeah. I'm not in a place to turn anybody away today.
Man said he been on the shelf too long and he's going stale.
But yeah, that was always the rule. Don't date inside the division. You know what I mean?
All right. Well, now you can date in the same
clubhouse. The dream is to find a mafia babe. You know what I mean?
Wouldn't that be dope? Somebody
That's the dream. That's the dream.
She wakes up and she's just ready to go, just like you, and that's a nice life, dog. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah.
That's a nice life.
I'm all for it. And everyone that I've had a crush on has found a man and gotten married because that is the dream for all of us.
Dang. So
because I'm not the only man with that dream.
Hey, well, listen, man. I'm a firm believer, and there's love for everyone out there. And you're a good-looking dude, so sometimes it's like
now. See,
right place, right time.
When you get into the lying portion, that's real tough.
Oh, see, no, dog, no. Come on now.
Yeah, my love out there is a chocolate lab who has since passed away, and I love him dearly. That was the only love I ever get.
Oh, dog. We going.
You better not say shit about Chippy, dog.
hey, I ain't gonna say nothing about Chippy now. I'm just saying. Well, you're a little chippy right now, but hey, you know what? Like I said, man, we gotta find you something.
Why are you even doing this to me? I mean, what's?
Well, it's just because I can. It's not. It's like when you're able to talk it through. Don't you always feel better when you talk it through?
No.
You don't?
No.
I'm not talking about in your head. I'm talking about just like, yo, I'm getting it out, bro.
No, I feel better when I talk it through in my head than when I talk it
Yeah,
out with other people.
because because you're not going to tell you the truth.
Have you met
You know?
me? I am a certified truth teller. Sometimes I tell too much truth, and it's
True.
painful.
Very. That's factual. That's very factual.
Yeah, gets me in trouble a lot of the time with a lot of things,
It's okay.
including women.
Well, we're gonna find you a Bills Mafia babe. How about that?
It's not going to
On
happen.
the list.
I
On
got
the
news
list.
for you.
He is.
Listen, I think the earlier that everybody accepts the fact that I'm going to die alone, as I have, the quicker we can move on and talk about Buffalo Bills football. You know what I mean?
Wow. Wow. That's cap. All the way
Listen,
cap.
it's not going to be much longer either.
Oh, you plan on dying soon, huh?
Yeah, I had like a palm reading thing. You know
What's up, Sarah?
what
Sarah
I'm
knows,
talking about?
Sarah knows a lot of attractive women. Sarah, I need you to find this man, this good, wholesome man,
Doesn't she live in
a
like
woman.
Rochester?
Huh?
Doesn't she live in Buffalo or
No,
Rochester?
she lives in Miami. There's a
Oh,
ton of good
there you
looking
go.
women, and she has a lot of friends. That's all I'm telling you. So
Yeah, no, they did the palm reading thing. The lifeline cuts off. You know what I mean? So I figure I got like 4 good Christmases left, and then probably done.
yeah,
So
okay.
Bills better wrap this shit up. You know what I mean?
Hey man, hey.
See, Frankie knows where it's at. Let's do that.
Frankie said bad play calling by Brady. Frankie, stay on here. Thank you for watching. We are gonna get into
Are we?
um
Are you sure?
yeah, we'll put you to the side, your dating history to the side for now. We could talk Bills. How about that? Well, we're still gonna find you a woman. So let's so where you at, man? Where I mean, we had, a great game on Sunday. First half was kind of meh, but they seemed to pick it up in the second half. Uh Josh Allen, 300 and over 300 yards passing. Keon Coleman, welcome to the party. Over 100 yards for the first time in his career. I thought he had a great showing. Um Play calling, to Frankie's point, I think, yeah, I mean, I don't know if, and maybe you can elaborate on this, but the way he calls his runs, I do have a problem with. Like the first down tendency, and just it's like he saves the good stuff for the second half. Like I need to see more. If it's zone for James Cook, get him going on the perimeter, man. I think he needs to be on the perimeter a little bit more than he is. You know, he didn't have a great game. This 13 carries, 22 yards, something like that. But I think there needs to be some improvement with the play calling, though. I can agree with that.
So do you want the 1,000-foot view, or should we zoom in? Like, how do you want to start here?
Let's start with the 1,000-foot and work our way in.
Okay, the 1,000-foot view, they're great, man. And I don't think it was on this podcast last week, but on a different podcast we do together last week. You asked me what I thought the record was going to be, and I said 14-3, and I only said that with half my tongue in my mouth. You know what I mean? Like, I do believe that this is a really good team, really good team.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they lost to 2 really good teams in a tough situation, in a back-to-back on the road. So before we, I think you need to take that into effect when you look at the 1,000-foot view of this team. If you want to talk about play calling specifically, Joe Brady as a play caller has a tendency to hit you over the head with stuff until you stop it. He gets a little too into that sometimes. And that's what you're talking about when you say it gets a little frustrating seeing similar runs. They're not the same, but seeing similar runs leading off drives and stuff like that. What I'll say about it is you make tendencies to break tendencies. That's how play calling works. That is what is important. And the perfect example of that is a Tim Tebow game. Okay. I went to
You're
the
going back to the
playoff
vault.
game. I went to the playoff game that they won against the Steelers. They had 22 first down plays. 21 of them were runs. And the 22nd was Tim Tebow pulling that ball and throwing it to Demaryius Thomas with single coverage across the middle of the field and him running 80 yards for a touchdown and a game-winning play.
316 yards for Tebow that game.
You make tendencies to break tendencies. So it can get frustrating at times, but we have to remember that this is a marathon, not a sprint. Both inside of the 4 quarters and inside of the season. And I want to see more creativity from Joe Brady. I want to see a better flow. But when he catches that groove, when he catches that flow, it's pretty good. And I think one thing that nobody can argue with, and I think this is true on both sides of the ball, is the adjustments have been stellar. The only game the adjustments didn't work was Baltimore, and they had kind of given up at that point. But yeah, Baltimore was the only game where halftime adjustments just didn't really do anything for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm in an okay place with Joe. I think people are a little too hot about it. Now, listen, these are probably the same people that thought that Brian Daboll was an awful coordinator and the same people that thought every coach should get fired because, Josh Allen can do no wrong. Josh Allen can do some wrong.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
And we talked about that in the Houston game. We talked about that. I'm trying to think the other games he didn't play great. Baltimore game, right? Like even in the Jets game a little bit. That Josh Allen can do better. But I think the play calling has been good. Not great, but good.
I like what I've seen in the passing game. Like I feel like he's done, even when Josh Allen has a couple down games, there's still answers. Like there's still, ways that I feel creatively that he's put people in position to make plays. So I like the play calling in terms of the pass game, the play design there, the concepts I feel like are pretty good. I mean, I would like to see more, more Khalil Shakir. I like to see more ways to try to get Samuel involved if he's healthy. But I think again, like you said, I mean, it's definitely a marathon and not a sprint, right? And Josh Allen statistically is having a freaking great year. Like,
yeah. If Joe Brady calls the plays for his first or only or whatever MVP season, he's still going to say that he's awful. You know what I mean? And
yeah, right.
And we've documented, and I very much feel this is true. There were plays in that Miami game where he had drops. There are a ton of plays in the Baltimore game where people did not help him out. And a little bit in the Houston game too. And the Amari Cooper drop. So now let's focus in on it, right? It's not play calling.
Absolutely not.
And it's not Josh Allen. It was a wide open throw that he hit to pick up a third down and keep that drive going. And Cooper, hey, man, it's his first ball coming at him. Maybe it was in his head a little bit. You know what I mean? Don't drop this one. Don't drop this one. And those are the ones that you normally drop. I'm willing to forgive him for that. Some people might not be, but whatever. If it continues to be a problem, then it's a problem, but I don't think it is right now. So if they pick up that third down and drive down the field and score a touchdown, we're not having any of these conversations. So it's not necessarily the play calling. It's not necessarily Josh Allen. It's a little bit of all of it.
Yeah, it is. And at different times, it's hard to pinpoint to one thing and go, yeah, that's it. I mean, and that's true for any football team. It's never one thing, right? It's always spread around. And that's what makes football so beautiful, that it takes, 11 individuals to make it go. But yeah, I mean, Cooper, the emergence of Amari Cooper in this offense, man. We saw the fruit of the labor on Sunday. Just having him on the field, able to win 1v1, opens up the offense for everybody. And we talked about that last week before he played in the game, that it would open up this offense. And I think guys like Kincaid and Coleman were massive benefactors of his presence on the field. I mean, it was evident. We saw, I mean, Kincaid, the fact that they were able to target him more down the field was great. I mean, Kincaid had that 1/3 yard third down reception. It was like a corner route on the left side that, over his shoulder. Beautiful pass. Josh Allen put that thing in there. Kincaid jumped up and got it. I mean, that's the Kincaid that we've all been wanting to see. Not, and I'm not opposed to, these slip screens and these, quick screens and stuff. I mean, that's fine to give him the ball, but I mean, I think he can really do damage down the field over the middle and those sorts of things. So we kind of saw that. What are your thoughts on Coleman and Kincaid in this offense? Khalil Shakir had a good showing. I saw them really try to get him the ball. What are your thoughts?
My Google's going off. Just tell it to go away. You know what I mean? Sorry. Okay. What are my thoughts? My thoughts are, we talked about this, and I think we landed on the same page of, if you have an ace on your pitching staff and your number 2 starter has to play the other number 2 starter, and your number 3 starter has to play the other number 3 starter, it all just kind of slots in better.
Mm-hmm.
And you didn't have an ace. So your number 2 starter was playing against their ace, and your number 3 starter was playing against their number 2 starter. And it wasn't fitting quite as well. Now, when their ace wasn't that good, hello Jaguars, right? You ate, everybody eats. But when you really got pinned down, like versus Baltimore and versus Houston, and they said, we're gonna make you beat our best guy, you couldn't do it. And it was why Brandon was so out there to get somebody. You know what I mean? So I think, yeah, you saw flashes of what this offense can be. I don't think necessarily that they need another guy. I'm comfortable now with where everybody slots in. Are you?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I like this room now. Now that you have a bona fide number 1, I think, we just saw them play their position, their role, the way it needs to be played. You have Coleman as your outside boundary guy, physical, run after catch guy. Khalil Shakir can work that shallow cross, short intermediate, run after catch. Love that. And Kincaid can kind of be your X factor, where he can kind of do all three. That's where they need to be. That makes this offense more dynamic, and it opens the playbook for even more. I do feel like, even though, like I said, I did like the play design for the passing game. Those concepts have been good, but now that you have a bona fide number 1 receiver, it opens up the playbook, right? It makes Josh Allen even more dynamic. So,
well, and what it also lets you do, and this is not how I want to play, and it's not how Joe Brady wants to play. I know this for sure. But you got 3 legit running backs. Like legit running backs.
Yeah.
And having a guy who can win in known pass situations on 3rd down in a 3rd and 8, it allows you to kind of let that run game try to get going a little bit more than you used to. Because you used to kind of feel like, I don't want to get behind the sticks. I need to throw on 2nd down. And with 3 guys who are legit running threats out of the backfield, knowing that you can go to Coop on 3rd down and say, I need you to win on a route right here because I need to pick up a 3rd and 8. It allows you a little more variance in the play calling. Now, I'm not saying you always want to get in the 3rd and 8. You hope the first 2 runs don't not work. but but you know, it allows you on that play calling sheet to not be so narrow in what you're looking at
Right.
with down and distance, because you've got somebody that if they are going to dare you to beat them one-on-one, he can beat them.
Right.
That's a big deal.
It is a big deal. I'm trying to see what the Bills run pass ratio is this year, where they stand. I'll tell you. The Bills currently are at 51%. Uh
So they had 20
fif-
rushes and 33 passes on Sunday.
Yep, so we just saw an uptick in passing the ball. If that's the ratio that they can attain moving
I think
forward,
that's
I
where you want
do
to be.
like that. That's where you want to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. The highest pass play percentage in the league currently is Seattle with 66%.
And I think you want to be towards the top there. You know, when
Yep.
I say you've got legit running backs, I don't mean that you should be run dominant. I just mean that those runs can be real effective when you've got fresh legs behind that offensive line, which we need to talk about them, by the way. But behind that offensive line, a fresh set of legs coming at you play after play after play. And it's slashing one play with Cook and pounding the next play with Davis. And then you get a nice mixture of both with Johnson. You know what I mean? Like it's a real nice tandem trio they have back there, I guess I should say.
Yeah, and in these stats, I mean, you're seeing a real delineation between teams with a number one wide receiver and teams without a number one wide receiver. Like you on the bottom, you got teams like Baltimore who admittedly would just run the football. Like they pass the ball 46.53%, but their running game is just I think they have like 140 yards per game. They're
I think
killing it
this is
right
an
now.
important point to stop down and talk about, though. So we talked about Cooper and how he offers you stretching the field vertically a little bit, right? Like he's
Mhm.
not a speed guy,
Right.
but the fact that he can win on routes is going to hold those safeties back a little bit and makes it easier for you to run. That Baltimore team, what they do is they stretch you horizontally because they've got, and this isn't to say that I think he's a running back, but they have two running threats in their backfield every play. And so whether it's Henry going this way or Lamar going this way, they stretch your defense out horizontally and then attack the seams. And they can do that all day. Like that is hard to stop unless you're planning to stop it. It's why it's tough playing service academies. You know what I mean? Like those teams stretch your field horizontally instead of stretching it vertically. It's a different way to run an offense, and it doesn't normally work in the NFL because the athletes are so much bigger and so much faster. But I mean, Baltimore has made it work this year, and
Yeah. I
I
mean,
don't think
Derrick
people are going to be
Henry,
able to stop it.
I mean, he's a battering ram. Not only that, but he's also fast. So, and you got Lamar Jackson, who's probably the fastest quarterback in the league. I mean,
And he only has to pull it once every 5 times, and all of a sudden he's gone. You know what I mean? He's got that lightning strike ability that is incredible.
right. It's tough to defend. And then not only that, you got two really tall tight ends who run the seams quite well in Isaiah Likely and Mark Andrews. So it really does, I mean, I think Baltimore is I think they're averaging the most points in the league. I mean, Lamar had 5 touchdowns last night and another 40-point spot on the Bucks. I mean, this is the best I think we've ever seen the Ravens. I mean, they're looking good, but to your point, yeah, I think the Bills need to hover around that 60% mark, 60-40 split, 65% even if I'm really honest. I think they lean into what this offense is, and this offense is predicated on Josh Allen and these receiving options making plays. I like James Cook. I do like Ray Davis. But let's lean into the pass game more. I think it's time now. So
But those touches for those guys can be in the pass game.
true.
Give me Cook on a tunnel screen. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? The Bills I know are notorious for not running them well. We had a little Chan Gailey stretch that we ran him well, and
Man.
that was it. But I mean, I think this is what this offensive line is built for. They are incredibly athletic for their size.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it is a huge offensive line, but they are incredibly athletic. Everybody has seen on Twitter the video of Spencer Brown, dumping two guys on one play, kind of make the rounds.
Yeah.
They are extremely athletic for being huge guys. And so if you get them on a screen or you get them even just run blocking in a zone type scheme where they're moving, these guys are, I mean, they're scary, man. That is 300 pounds of dude coming at you. And you better be ready for it. Otherwise, you're going to get run over.
Doesn't it feel nice to talk about the offensive line and it be an actual strength of the offense? And it's a strength that I don't think we talk about enough.
Yeah,
Um,
let's though, because
yeah.
you and I, and mostly me, so I'm not putting this on you, but you and I were worried about the guard positions, and
Mm-hmm.
boy has Osiris Torrance played well. I
Yeah.
mean, that man deserves all his flowers.
Yeah, man. He's I think in the last 2 weeks, I think he's really turned it on. I don't know what the delay was, but he's I mean, we knew that he was stout in the run game, but I think coming in, I thought, it was the pass game that was gonna get him, right? And his pass block win percentage this year is 68.3, according to PFF. And that 68.3 does show up on tape. Like he actually is doing a really good job in pass protection. Um, let's see, who else can I pull up here? I wanted to see Connor McGovern splits.
I mean, listen, I know this conversation has been dead for about a year and a half, but remember how worried we were about Spencer Brown too. I mean, that
Oh
man has
man.
developed into a top 10 NFL tackle, I think, right tackle, that is. But still an important position because that's where the pass rushers like to line up.
Right.
Um, I think that man has developed into a top 10 tackle. And part of it is just his imposing size, but he's learned how to use it. There was a time he really struggled with speed rushers, and that is not true anymore.
Yeah. Um, David Edwards is, I think he's probably your weakest link on the line as of right now.
But good.
And right.
And I was after him. I was after him
Oh,
in the
I know.
preseason. So I want to but listen, but you and I are not afraid to admit when we're wrong or somebody. I don't even think we were wrong to be nervous about it in the preseason. I think the man has just stepped his game up. I want to make sure that we're owning it and giving that guy his props because, it was definitely a concern.
Yeah.
And the two guards have played really well.
Yeah, they have played. Now, Connor McGovern, on the other hand, I think his run blocking. Now, I think there's still some timing issues that need to be corrected, and I do think, I mean, Connor McGovern's never going to be the guy that just is a road grader and just going to move people out the way, right? But I feel like they need the Bills have done a good job of utilizing, the more athletic interior of the line in space, and I think that's where it's really showing up, versus gap versus zone. Like those zone runs, man. That's where I feel like where Connor McGovern shines. Pass blocking, it hasn't been great. Hasn't been great, but it's been okay. It's been good at times. I think he had some issues earlier in the season. We'll see if that improves. I mean, I'm fishing for straws here. I mean, there's not much that I can really say about this offensive line that's negative. I mean,
I'll say
this is probably the best offensive line they've had in years.
I'll say this. McGovern to me seems like a reluctant leader of that unit. And that's not always a bad thing, right? Like sometimes the reluctant leader is the best one. But it just feels like to me he thrived out at guard. Just, hey, see ball, hit ball. You know what I mean? Like tell me what to do and I'll do it kind of thing. And we know that there are those kind of players out there. At the center position, you got to make a lot of calls. You know what I mean? There's a lot on your plate. And, that doesn't even include actually executing the snap, which you have to do every play too. So, listen, it's that kind of leadership role is not for everybody. And I feel like that's probably what he's been struggling with, but he's been fine. I would
Yeah,
have, I mean, how much would you have loved to kick him out to guard and still have Mitch Morris there,
I
at
would
least
love
for
to.
another year?
It'd
But
been nice. It'd been nice. I mean,
I think
more.
last year's offensive line was the best offensive line they had. I think it was better than this year's. But, you don't know when Father Time's going to catch up with Mitch. And that was a big cap number that they had to shed, for multiple reasons.
I think with Dion improving even more this year, and getting a little more from, um, Osiris Torrance, and the stability of Spencer Brown makes me believe that this is the best iteration of the offensive line we've had. Now, I'm a big fan of Cedric Van Pern Granger. I would love to see him next year take over the center role.
I think that time is coming. I already saw a couple people who know what they're talking about on Bill's Twitter be like, future starting offensive line, and VPG's in there and at the center spot. I think that's kind of what everybody is thinking about. A little bit of a red shirt year, and then he might be your guy.
Yeah, yeah, man, just that's my guy, dude. I love that kid. Okay, so offensive line was great. Spencer Brown, we mentioned him a little bit earlier.
And like one more thing, and you did mention his name briefly there, but we just talked about the offensive line for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Didn't even mention the left tackle.
No, Dion is phenomenal.
But that's the way he's been for the last like 5 years. Is just solid, and I'm not writing any essays about him, but every week he goes out there and does his job, and you don't have to worry about it. And that is rare for a left tackle, right? Like that is elite left tackle stuff to have us not have to mention you. You know what I mean? So like
Mhm.
hats off to the snowman too. Like that whole unit has been impressive, but we talked about it for 12 minutes and we didn't even bring up Dion because we weren't worried about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and the great thing about all that is that there's still room to get better. There is still room to get better. I mean, we're only, 7 weeks in, 8 weeks in now. The offensive line, I mean, and that's with two new pieces starting this year, right? So
One, but yeah,
well, in a new position, that's still, you
one and
know,
a half.
okay. If that, I mean, however you want to slice it,
Yeah.
but that's still two new positions,
Yep.
getting acclimated and getting that chemistry down. I think there's room for improvement for those guys to even be better as we get close to the end of the season. Real quick though, before and this is Bills related, but not. Have you seen the chatter around the league about Cooper Kupp being offered in a trade? Have you heard the news?
Haven't heard a thing.
Yeah,
I also
so
been I was really unplugged today. I was busy with work, so I wasn't following closely. Why? What's going on?
yeah, apparently the Rams are in fire sale mode, and Cooper Kupp, 31-year-old wide receiver who's often injured, but when he plays, he's pretty good. Is available for trade for at least a second round pick. And I found this really odd, but the Bills name being floated around as a possibility. Now, I don't know why. I know why, but I at the same time don't know why you would be interested. And I'm not saying that they are, but be interested in Cooper Kupp. I mean, unless you're really trying to punch it and go for the Super Bowl. I mean, they're even saying that they would even cover or take a lot of that cap space this year to get him off the books.
Is this the last year of his deal?
He's got 3 years remaining. This
Yeah,
this one and 2 more years,
I don't know
but
about that.
non-guaranteed money.
Oh, okay.
Non-guaranteed
All
after
right.
this year.
So you work out something in the trade that says, "Hey, we're going to cut you next year." I mean, maybe. I don't know if that's worth a second round pick because you have your guy already and you already traded your third. So I would have said to you, listen, I go to them and say, I'll give you a 3, but you don't have a 3 anymore to deal with. I don't know that I'm giving up a second for 1 year. I already did that once. You know what I mean? I gave up a 3 for 1 year. I don't know that I'm
Yeah,
doing that.
I mean that's a little rich for my blood for that position. I mean, and then you look at the fit. Like what's the I mean, I don't see Cooper and Cup being on this roster. And then you got, Cooper Cup who being a slot receiver. Now he can play outside, but he does most his he does his damage in the slot. And I like where Khalil Shakir is, right? So I don't know. I'd want to do that necessarily. I mean, it'd be nice to dream and think about it, obviously, but
I mean, listen, if we're really talking about dreaming and we're talking about Rams wide receivers, Puka Nacua.
I think he's young and on a rookie deal.
That's exactly why he's a guy I will give up a second round pick for. He's
Yeah.
young. He's on a rookie deal. He plays outside. Like, that's a guy I would give up a second round pick for.
Oh yeah.
Not old ass Cooper Cup, which,
Yeah.
like, due respect,
31.
I still think he can get it done. But, like, if we're really talking about like a second round pick, come on now.
Again, rich for my blood. It's a little rich.
For
It's a
Puka?
little no,
Oh,
not for Puka. Not
I
for
was like,
Puka.
no, that's a
For
steal
Cooper.
Puka.
For Cooper Cup. Oh yeah.
I would. This might be crazy of me, but I would consider giving up the 1 for Puka.
With Josh out. Yeah. Yeah.
Now, I don't know if Puka Nacua is going to be crazy about living in Buffalo. So I would need to make sure he's all right with that. And
Man, he
I
went
got
to
a contract.
BYU, dog. He'll be fine in Buffalo.
I mean, all right, but
I mean, Utah's beautiful, but I don't know, man. It's just interesting. Myles Garrett is another name that is being thrown around. That's one I give up the 1 for. Now that contract, I don't know the details of that contract, but man, you put him on this roster. Now
why
we're
do we get
talking.
into trade talk all of a sudden?
Well, because as each week we get close to the trade deadline, and
I think this is it. This is the last one, right? It's a week from today, isn't it?
Oh, I think 2 weeks. And it first week of November is the trade deadline. I'm pretty sure. But no, man, I mean, you just see the Bills' name. They're last week on the show with Pat McAfee. Brandon Beam was he said there was a team that he talked to that had 3 available players saying, wondering if he was done yet. And maybe that's the Browns who sit at 1-6. Miles, I mean, it would be hard. November 5th. Thank you, Frankie J, for that information. So November 5th is the trade deadline. But I'm all for, like, do what the Rams did. I'm all for it now. Like, I love draft and develop. I do love that mantra. Like, that's the way you build your team. But at some point, you got to say, the Super Bowl, not the Super Bowl one will never close with Josh Allen, but it'd be nice to put all your eggs in a basket this year and be like, all right, here we go. Like, let's go. Be nice. I just don't think the Bills are going to do that, but it would be nice to get Myles Garrett on this team. You looking at something over there.
Yeah, his base salary. So he's got 3 void years on the end of his deal. He is 29 years old this year. He's 30 next year. His base salary is $1,255,000.
This year?
Next year. This year it's $1,210,000. Next year it's $1,255,000, and the year after that it's $1,300,000. Now, it says operation or option proration, which I don't know what that means, but I'm assuming that's cap hit. And now it says 14 this year. But if they are trading him and there's money they already paid, they have to take on that cap hit. You don't take that on. That's how Amari Cooper didn't have any cap hit when he got traded to us. The Browns switched that money to bonus money and had paid it to him already. And so you're just on the hook for whatever his base salary is. So if they've already paid him that option money, that dead cap does not come with him. He would just cost us the 1.2 million base salary over the next couple of years. His cap hits are 14 mil, 18 mil, 19 mil over those next 3 years. But again, I don't know that we would have to take it on I think the Browns would probably have to take that on if they trade him. Now, if they're going to take on 27 million of dead cap,
it's a first.
At least. It might be 2. It might be 2 first.
And I'd give that up for Myles Garrett in a heartbeat. Oh, absolutely. Pass rushers, I mean, this dude is made of steel. Like
29, 30, 31.
Bro, give me 4 solid years with Myles Garrett. Are you kidding me? When the Bills are going to have to draft a defensive end this year,
you don't pick Groot then.
You don't know what you're going to get. I mean, dog.
You tried the all-in move with an older pass rusher.
I would no. See, this is different.
Hey, tell me I'm
wrong.
This
is different.
No, it's not. No,
there's content. Yes, no, yes and no. Yes and no. Yes and no. Because
I know they're 2 different types
Vaughn
of players.
How old was Vaughn? 32 when he came to the Bills.
Just saying, you tried the all-in move with an older pass rusher.
Come on, man. Don't do me like that now. Don't do me like that.
We're not talking about Aiden Hutchinson here, right? Like,
you wouldn't give up a first for Myles Garrett.
I give up a first.
Nothing more.
I need to know the deals of the cap hit.
Okay. So hold on. So let's just say the guaranteed money is all
his base salary over the next 3 years. Then yeah, I would do it. Absolutely.
But just 1 first.
No, I do 2 first if you're only paying a 1 mil plus base salary over the next 3 years because the bonus has already been paid.
I mean, I feel like he's gonna. Who's the casualty? And it can't be Groot. It cannot be Groot.
It has to be.
Nope.
There's no way you're paying him. No way.
You have Benford, Bernard, Shakir that are going to get massive contract extensions. There has to be a casualty.
Yeah, it's going to be Groot.
And it ain't Groot. Pick another.
There is no pick another, dog.
Oh, there is. There is.
There's not.
You have to pick another.
You can't have a Von Miller.
Hey, Wayne Bowen said Kyrie.
You can't have Von Miller, Myles Garrett, and Greg Rousseau and Ed Oliver all on your defensive line on that. You can't. You can't do it.
For Myles Garrett, I'd say buy Ed Oliver. I would.
Now that is a fan take. That is not a bald nowhere take. You know better than that. Come on. Come on.
Whoa. Now that's not a fan take.
That's a fan take.
And I like Ed Oliver.
That's a fan take.
How is that? How is that?
Doug, you need a push from the center of the pocket.
You do.
And
I'll go find another.
That guy is not going to eat sacks.
I will find another.
Oh.
I will find another.
There's about 6 of them in the league. Good luck.
I will find another.
Why do you think they paid Ed?
I will find another. I mean, let's not talk. First of all, let's not talk like Ed is he's just this irreplaceable stalwart defensive tackle. But that's how you're talking. That's how you're talking. Come on now. Because there are a lot of games where Ed is just missing. And he might as well wear a Waldo shirt. And I understand. Don't try to school me. I know what style of defense this is. I know what the roles and responsibility of his position, what he does. I'm not saying he's trash, but we're not going to sit here and act like Ed is just this all-world defensive tackle because he's not. I think he's a really good defensive tackle. He's not elite, though. He's not elite.
I think people are paying more attention to it now than they ever have. And you can thank Aaron Donald for that. But how many guys in the league right now have the pass rushing ability of Ed Oliver from either tackle position? Any of the three. Nose tackle, 1 technique, 3 technique, whatever. How many?
Let's see. The Commanders have one. Tell me I'm lying. Tell me I'm lying. Christian Wilkins is one. Christian Wilkins is one another.
We're not going through them all name by name. So just run through. What do you think? How many do you think?
Jeffrey Simmons. Kansas. I don't even want to say Chris Jones because he's amazing.
But and they also move him outside a lot, but yes.
Yeah, right. Who else could I throw in there?
Getting slow, isn't it?
But to say Ed is like that. I just
there's a few guys, right? There's a handful of guys. Vita Vea. I think he doesn't. I know people think of him as a run stopper, but I think he's got ability there too.
That boy collapses the pocket like no other, man.
Yeah. Jeffrey Simmons is probably my favorite one of them.
That's what I really want.
I mean, that'd be incredible. I'd trade Ed Oliver straight up for Jeffrey Simmons. We could do that.
Who wouldn't do that? Who wouldn't do that, dog?
Smoot can go. Oh, Frankie.
But to the point, there has to be a casualty. Okay.
Yeah.
So, and I want you to pick one.
Groot is the casualty.
That's not what I want to hear.
It's probably Groot and Shakir, if we're being serious.
Yeah. That's probably
because I don't think they let Benford go.
No, Benford's
too much having two solid corners out there. I don't think they let them go.
I mean, Groot is young too. He's young, man.
29, 30, 31. Now listen, again, I am not a capologist. I do not. So his base salary is 1 point something million over those 3 years. I don't know if that cap hit comes with him. I don't think it does. I think if they have already paid that money in bonuses, they assume it all in dead cap. So if that's his number over the next 3 years, I'll trade 3 firsts for that.
Now that's too much.
But if I get Myles Garrett at
he's going to want a contract extension.
And that's it.
He's going to want a contract extension, don't you think?
I'll tell him we'll talk after we win a Super Bowl.
I wish it was just that easy.
He's not with 3 years left. He's not going to get a contract extension right away. He knows that.
And Josh is going to need a contract extension.
I'm interested to see the next extension for Josh.
Yeah.
I am.
Right. Because he's like the 13th highest paid quarterback in the league right now. I mean, I don't know, man.
This is why you hire somebody to negotiate for you. Because when you go into that office, they're not there to talk nice about you. Right?
Yeah.
And so when you sit down with Josh Allen, you're going to say, you have 0 Super Bowl titles, 0 NFL MVPs, 0 AFC championships.
That's
what I'm saying. Like,
I'm Josh. That will piss me off, bro. That will piss me off.
That's why you have somebody represent you.
See.
And then Josh says, "I've had over 40 touchdowns the past 4 years. Like, I have number one. I have more touchdowns than Patrick Mahomes or anybody else in football over the last 5 years since I've been a starter."
And you gave me Sean McDermott as my head coach late in games. Like, quit playing with me, dog.
Right.
I walk off the field and we have the lead.
But that's what a negotiation is, right?
Yeah, I sneeze and we're losing.
So, but I'm not necessarily interested of it from that standpoint. The thing I am interested about is the vibe you get from Josh. Now, none of us actually know him personally, but the vibe that you get from Josh is that boy wants to win.
Yeah, he does.
He does.
Boy
wants to win.
But at what? I mean, we just can't
I
pay
think,
everybody, right? Like we've started to see casualties on the roster.
But that's what I'm saying. I think next time round, Josh is going to say, let's structure this in a way that looks like I'm still getting all this. And instead of actually getting all this, I don't put us in a cap hell situation.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
that's just a feeling. I wouldn't tell anybody that you have to do that. Or, oh, I expect you to do that, Madison dropping heat.
Yeah, listen. How much does it cost to not have Josh Allen? I don't even want to explore that. It's not real life.
He lived it for 17 years, dog.
Yeah, I don't want to see it again. I don't want to see it again.
That's what I'm saying.
We don't Josh can write his own check. He's gonna have to write his own check.
But it's interesting what he's gonna ask.
Yeah.
For. You know what I mean? What is he gonna ask for that check to be? He has had to say goodbye to people. Which, by the way, now that I'm thinking about it, you know who the cap casualty is? You know who it is.
Mm-mm.
You know who it is.
Nah, I don't.
Who's the biggest number? Who's the most worthless on this team right now?
Vaughn.
Very easy answer.
Vaughn.
No. First of all, his number is lower.
Oh, his number is lower now. His number is lower.
His number's lower than the person that I'm thinking of, and he was playing great.
Worthless.
I can't wait for
Dawson Knox.
Back. Yeah, that's the name.
Yeah,
that's the $9 million a year that you cut.
Yeah, this has to be his last year in the Bills uniform.
It's going to be interesting.
It needs to be.
I think he's going to take a big contract restructure down to $5 million a year and want to stay in Buffalo.
Yeah, yeah.
Because he's Josh Allen's best friend. Like you know what I mean. And so if you pay him $4 or $5 million to be Josh Allen's best friend, then whatever. Dog, why don't you get me deals like that? What the hell, man?
I offered you one for this weekend, but you said no.
That is not. It's not $4 to $5 million to be your best friend.
Hey,
you got 4 or 5 mil down there. I'll drive down this weekend.
Hey, listen, dog. It's not about the liquid cash you can get. It's the currency and camaraderie and love that you'd be getting that's worth that amount of money.
That's absolutely what
it's like. It's like nonprofit work.
I think we're only about halfway through his deal. Somebody asked how long he's got left. I think we're only about halfway
Dawson.
Through.
Yeah, I think he's got 3-4 years left remaining on that deal.
It up. Okay, so next year his base salary is 8.75, and his signing prorated bonus is 258, and his optional bonus is 2.5. So his cap hit is 14 next year.
No.
And then they've got a potential out. It says potential out 2026, 2 years, 17.5 million with only 7.4 million of dead cap before the 26 season. And then 26 is the last year of his deal. It's a $9.9 million base salary, a $17 million cap hit. They're definitely taking the out after next year, but I bet you they restructure him.
Yeah, they're gonna have to. Moses didn't see the promised land, and the promised land being that new stadium. I don't expect Dawson Knox to last through that to see the new stadium.
That's interesting. $4 to $5 million to be Josh's best friend. That's the offer out there,
and that's too much, to be honest, for what he's producing.
He's a $3 to $4 million tight end probably on the free agent market.
Yeah.
So if you give him 4 to 5,
that's
whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I did the mistake thinking the Bills will have cap space next year, but they're only slated to have about 10, 11 million next year.
I couldn't believe that when I saw that. 10
and
million.
I'm like, where the fuck did all the money go?
The cap projection over the last 3 years has been lower than the actual cap number that they come back with.
Yeah.
Because they are making money hand over fist with all these different platforms and streaming only games and all that shit. So cap is probably going to be higher than what they're estimating.
So let's just say 12 million over that 10, 11 million. So you're looking at $23 million.
No, this year it was an extra like 12 million.
That's what I'm saying.
Even if it's 6 million over and you got like 16 mil in cap space to play with, you got room for a guy there. You got room for a Leonard Floyd. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you might keep them draft picks, man. Because even with that structure that we just outlined, there's still going to be a casualty. I don't think that they'll be able to re-sign all them dudes. Even if you don't, I mean, Myles Garrett and whoever you want to throw on their side, I don't think they're going to be able to sign those guys.
Well, I mean, we'll have to see how he does the rest of the year,
right?
But you let Coop walk. You know what I mean? Like, put yourself right back in the same situation you were.
And it sucks because
I've said this older to you
wide
before.
receiver.
There's always a disgruntled wide receiver. Always.
Yep.
But do you want to deal with the diva attitude of George Pickens, who's mad that he hasn't gotten the ball, right?
No.
But like that's who you're talking about. You know what I mean? Like those are the kind of guys that you're talking about.
And your boy Brandon Ayuk, golly.
Not my boy.
Golly.
Not my boy.
Man.
Feel for him though.
Hey, well, he got his money. He got his money. But bro, a wide receiver coming off an ACL, that is ACL and MCL. Oh, that good for him for getting his money, but I don't know
why they do it, man. That's why they hold out right there.
Yeah, that's right there. Because San Francisco run these boys into the ground. They do. I mean, Debo is always hurt. Christian McCaffrey's hurt all the time. It just sucks to see.
Christian McCaffrey has not been hurt all the time.
Bro, he's I feel like
this was his only injury he's had in San Francisco.
In San Francisco.
Yeah, I'd be hurt a lot if I was playing for the Panthers too, dog.
My neck and my back.
What do you want me to tell you?
Wayne Bowen says
my career here.
You guys think DeMar should play over my abso-fucking-lutely.
You know what? We didn't talk about the defense at all. You want to spend 2 minutes on it here real quick?
Yeah, let's talk about it. They go ahead.
Frustrating.
But haven't we been saying this all season long with them?
And so here's the thing. And I saw a couple people make this point on Twitter, and I think it's an excellent point. It was a point that I was planning on making from the beginning. The Bills challenge you to take the easy stuff, make it all the way down the field, and don't make a mistake. Okay? When you say, okay, then we're going to take the easy stuff, the Bills shouldn't be surprised when you do that, because that is what their defense is set up to do. It's set up to let you run the ball. It's set up to let you get away with some of those quick passes. And the Bills have to be prepared for that. And one of the things that we have talked about here, that I've talked about with the people I'm watching the game with at the bar, that you've seen everybody who's a Bills podcaster talk about is, why do we wait to blitz? Like, what are we waiting for? And I was sitting in the bar next to David, our guy who we do our Sundays with. I was sitting on the bar next to him, and I'm like, they have not heated up Mason Rudolph. They have not heated him up once. And the next play was a blitz, and Mason Rudolph got sacked. And it was like, look who it was. It was Damar Hamlin or whoever. You know what I mean? Like, what are we doing? What are you waiting for?
Oh, man. I don't know, dude. So this season, the Buffalo Bills have a blitz rate of 15.3%, the lowest in the NFL this season.
And I get it.
Last year,
they play defense.
Last year, they had a blitz rate of 11.8%, which was third lowest in the league.
How this defense is built. And I get it. I really do.
Right.
But when you're without Von Miller, Can't wait for him to come
just
back and make you eat your words, dog.
dog.
He was playing so well. Like, I
He
don't know why you're
was. He
laughing at that.
was.
Okay, so
I'm laughing. I'm still laughing at the blitz percentage numbers. Like they just, I
and
just that is
and this
like the
week,
most passive defense in the first half that I've ever seen.
uh, and that's and like you. I mean, I
It's
guess
very Dick Duran. It's so Dick Duran.
I get you saying, okay, well, we're going to make Mason Rudolph beat us. I do guess I understand that, but also it's Mason Rudolph. Like, heat him up. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Look what
make him
happened
sweat back there
when
a
you
little.
came after him.
Fell apart.
Pipes start to burst. Why does it take you a half to figure that out?
And here's the other thing: when you didn't have Ed Oliver, when you didn't have Von Miller, when you didn't have Terrell Bernard, that should have been the game plan from the start. So that's what we're talking about when we're saying, like, the game plans coming in have not been great. They really have not. But the adjustments have been phenomenal. And as much time as we talk about the game plan coming in not being good, we also need to spend time talking
Let me
about
ask you a question then.
how good the adjustments have been. I know what your question is, and the answer is yes, it is him. Yes, it is Sean McDermott. Absolutely.
It absolutely is. Not Bobby Babich. It's Sean, because this is not something that, it's just this year. This has been happening for years.
But then who helps Brady?
Shit.
Because I agree with you. I think it is Sean that helps make the halftime adjustments. For those of you that aren't following the conversation, Sterls was going to ask me, how much of that do you think is Bobby Babich and how much of that do you think is Sean McDermott? And the answer is, I think about 80% of it's Sean McDermott.
Yeah.
Right. But the question is then who's helping Brady? Because Joe Brady has also had phenomenal adjustments. And are we just giving him credit for that? Because great.
Aaron Kromer. I think it's Aaron Kromer.
That'd be interesting.
Aaron Kromer was an offensive coordinator too.
That'd be interesting. But yeah, I do think Sean has a lot to say at halftime for this defense in terms of the adjustments that they make. Bobby is a young coordinator, and I tweeted this out, man. Joe Brady isn't as young of a coordinator.
He's had a chance before.
He was a coordinator in the NFL and coordinated a national championship team. So it's less excusable for him, if you ask me. But going in with a game plan and maybe being a little gun shy, being as aggressive as we want him to be, I'm willing to give Bobby Babich some time to try to get him. He's got to learn, man. You got to grow into the position a little bit.
He does, but how much of that is Sean saying, like, just giving him the reins? You know what I mean? Like, I want to know what that dynamic is like.
But you have to. You manage people, dog, in real life, right? Like sometimes you have to, and you have to let them walk on their own, and you have to let them fall on their own. And then you go over there and you say, if you didn't do this, you wouldn't have fallen. And they say, oh, okay, well, now I get it. Right? Yeah. Like, that is part of management and bringing along anybody in any position, much less a coach. He's not going to get this experience anywhere else. Even if he was to leave and go to college and be a coordinator for a little, it is not the same as calling an NFL defense. So at some point, he has to go through those growing pains to become a great coordinator. I don't think necessarily that I'm out on him being a great coordinator right now. Because I think McDermott helps make the adjustments, but I still think Bobby's making those calls.
You think he's making the calls? Okay.
In the second half?
That's fair.
I think Sean helps make the adjustments, but I think it's still Bobby making the defensive calls. So there's something there, right? Right?
Yeah. I mean, it'd be real nice to know. I'm just curious. I mean, the defense isn't it's really hard to judge this defense because the injuries and the continuity has been really tough. And that's tough for any coordinator to deal with. Now, if you're Spags, it's a different story. A little bit different just because of the wealth of knowledge and so forth. But for everybody else, there's about 4 defensive coordinators that I'm like, okay, you guys, regardless of your injuries, you'll get the best out of these players. Like, but for a young defensive coordinator,
and 1 or 2 head coaches too.
Yeah, for sure. Right. So I'm with you in giving him grace on that. I don't know, man. I like the defense. I want to see them healthy. If I get to see them in December healthy, then show me. Then I could be fully critical of them.
Do you see the difference in points given up in first halves and second halves?
Oh yeah,
for
man.
the defense?
They're not giving
It's
up
like
nothing in the second
99 to
half.
33.
Yeah.
Now listen, this is what we talked about, and you're dead in the middle of it right now. And I think you're going to start seeing this defense play better and better because 2 weeks ago you got Taron Johnson and Terrell Bernard back. This week you got Ed Oliver back. Next week you're going to get Von Miller back. Not next week, week after.
No,
couple weeks after that.
Yeah, not this game, but next game.
Couple weeks after that, you're going to get Matt Milano back. Right? Like, the cavalry is coming, dog. And I really, when they have all their guys, I just want all those Baltimore Ravens fans who say, like, oh, you say you want to see us in the playoffs, blah, blah, blah. Like,
with Matt
I think
Milano,
it was 7 starters we were down.
with Matt Milano and everybody healthy. Oh yeah, no, they're not running for 300 yards. Oh no,
I'm just saying. So
Matt Milano makes a
that
big
doesn't
difference.
mean I think we dominate them or beat them or anything like that. I'm just telling you it's a different ball game. So
you still need some help
coming.
at safety though. Damar Hamlin should not be starting.
Wow. You know he leads the team in tackles right now.
I don't care.
And passes defense, I believe.
No. Christian Benford has to be leading the
They don't throw at him. You know, it's such a deceiving stat. They don't throw at Christian Benford because his guy is covered.
Like white on rice. I mean, Christian Benford. I mean, the interception that DeMar had was because of Christian Benford this past weekend. That's for sure. I mean, I'm not saying DeMar Hamlin is buns, but what I'm trying to say is I don't like him in this defense. I prefer playmaking safeties.
He is second on the team in tackles, first on the team in passes defensed, first on the team in interceptions.
Man, come on now.
I'm just telling you, Tom.
Those aren't real stats. They're not real because it's not indicative of like watching the all 22. No.
Yeah, and we are already going over, but I do
we'll wrap this up.
I do like Wayne's comment here though. Like, what's the deal with Mike Edwards? When I saw he's not just a backup. Like I know
what it is.
When I saw him on the inactive list again,
I think I know what it is. Yeah, I think it's him and Sean don't get along. Him and somebody, Babbage or Sean, not getting along. That's what it is. Has to be. There's no reason why. No reason why.
Here's the reason. Do they think he doesn't understand the defense? He's
played in a similar defense. He understands the defense.
And that might be what Mike is saying. And Sean is saying, no, we run this way. And you are not doing it right.
Is this Kyler
That's the only thing
2.0?
I can think of.
Kyler Elam 2.0.
It's the only thing I can think of. Because it is befuddling. I mean, listen, even if you just threw him out there for 10 snaps to see what it looked like.
Then get rid of him.
You know what I mean?
If you're going to do that to that man, get rid of him.
I totally agree with you. I totally agree.
Let him go find somebody else to play for.
Trade him for a 7th. I mean, hell.
But I don't want to see him trade. I mean, I'd rather him like put DeMar on the bench. I know we're on the same page on this. Or put Cole Bishop in there. I'd be happy with Cole Bishop in there. Let him figure it out.
I mean, he really
I know it's one game where he shit the bed, right? But you got to learn somehow. I know he did, but I mean, I'd rather.
He also was playing opposite DeMar and not Taylor, and that might make a difference. To be honest with you, I know you're not a big Taylor rap guy, but
I'm not.
But
Wayne Bowen is leading the Mike Edwards campaign, dog.
He has played really well. Taylor Rapp, since he came back from injury, has played really well. Yeah. And if you put Cole Bishop on the field next to him, I think it does make it. It's different than him playing next to Damar Hamlin.
Yeah.
Oh my God, wrap it up and get out of here before your fucking head explodes.
Dog, every time I see DeMar in the starting lineup, I go, why?
Second on the team in tackles.
Why? No,
First on the
dog.
team in
Hey,
pass
man.
defense. First on the team in interceptions.
But basically, what you're saying is you sound like a
All
president. You
pro
sound like
safety,
name
clearly.
your president that says
Clearly.
we've created all
pro.
these jobs. Look at all these jobs you created, and you ain't done shit.
Yes.
That's what's like starting DeMar Hamlin.
Gas prices are going down.
Yeah, inflation is y'all still can't pay for your groceries, but inflation's going down.
DeMar Hamlin has reduced the price of eggs. Start DeMar Hamlin.
Dog.
Since DeMar Hamlin has been the starter,
man,
gas prices have gone down 10%.
Dog, I can't go to bed like this. I can't go to bed like this, dog. Oh my God. Okay, so
aliens coming across the border has gone down 15% since DeMar Hamlin was named the starting safety.
But there's a hole in the border, and no one's paying attention.
Start DeMar Hamlin,
dog. I just can't with him.
Hamlin rap 24.
I can't with Hamlin, dog.
It's a very presidential name, DeMar Hamlin.
What kind of president are you talking about? DeMar? How many? No.
Don't say something racist right here.
What are you talking about? What's it?
You notice the black guy that's saying it. It's not me. I didn't.
Dog,
I said that name was very presidential sounding.
It's not. Hey, white folks would riot if they had a president named DeMar. The what? What
it was more than Hamlin, but I was going for, but whatever.
DeMar.
I mean, DeMar Hamlin.
Where'd you get that name?
Oh, dog. Wow. And the best part was you backed yourself right into that corner and then you just froze. I mean, you were a deer in headlights when I was like, why would you say that? And you're like,
don't you know?
Shouldn't say this, should I?
No, dog. No, man. Don't get, I'll say some racist shit. That race doesn't scare me. It's just a reality.
Oh, you froze like a deer in headlights as soon as I called you out.
Hey, you seen that meme, that pastor that goes, why? It says it like that. Yeah, that I'll have to send it to you. I'll have to send it to you, bro. But again, when I see DeMar, why? I don't want to see him play safety. I don't want to see him on the team, to be honest. If I'm really being honest, bro, I don't want to see him on the team.
It's not that bad.
No, I said
that is an exaggeration. He is a solid NFL replacement level backup safety.
You like him because he wears cool cleats or something? Like, no.
He's a solid.
I don't want him as my backup. He's a third safety.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's a solid backup. You just said I don't want him on my team.
He's a backup to the backup. I don't want him on my team. Yeah,
now you're being too much of a hater.
Come on, dog.
He go as big as you want, dog. You being too much.
I can do this all night. You know what I'm saying?
He deserves a spot on the 53. Don't give me that. I don't even want him on my team.
I don't want him on my team. Okay. I'd rather have another option. Okay.
Yeah. Who?
Jesus Christ.
Listen, if he wants to come down and play safety,
Jesus would.
Do you know Sean McDermott? He has a starting spot if he wants.
Jesus
to
would
come
just
down and play safety.
kill at safety, bro. With that hair, yo, he'd be Jesus. All right, you're not feeling it. Okay. Well, this has been a very, very, very fun episode of Inside the Trenches.
Yeah. Oh,
I think so. I mean, we talked about your dating life. We talked about some possibilities. Hey, it's been a great time.
No,
great
you
time
hang
tonight.
up first.
Exact. See, that's where we're at. See, that means you had a great time.
You hang up first.
We're gonna have to. So, for all the listeners, if you haven't done so already, make sure you like, follow, subscribe Inside the Trenches, and Rumblings Podcast Network, and all of our shows going on. We are here each and every damn week. Rob T Radio. That's his Twitter handle, ladies. Bills Mafia Babes.
Okay.
If you want a little datey and he's single, ready to mingle, come see my guy. He got hair like Thor, baby, and he's fun. He's a good time. And a good plug for you, dog. Okay, and he's out. And he's out. It's all good.
Wrap the shit up, would you?
All right, man. You know what? Did I hate you? I hate you right now. You didn't know that? No? You didn't know that? Okay. See, you got to go and be rude. You got to go and be rude.
Says the guy who just said, I hate you. What happened to wrapping this up?
I just want to be on. Okay, fine, whatever. We're out of here.
Women too.
Hey, Rumblings Podcast Network. You guys have been wonderful to us tonight. We'll see you. We'll see you next week. We'll talk some Bills. Whoever the hell we're playing. The Seahawks.
We didn't even talk about the Seahawks.
Screw the Seahawks. Bye.